He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Friends are non-intimate secondary sources in the fuel matrix of the narcissist. Friends, like any other person, are an appliance. Friends to the narcissist are subjected to the shelf dynamic, which means that when the friend comes up on the radar of the narcissism determines whether that friend ought to be taken off the shelf, given some comfort crumbs, or not taken off the shelf. Where the friend is taken off the shelf, it might be to spend some time with them, or to make a call or engage in some texting back and forth. The friend only matters to the narcissist with regard to what the friend can provide to the narcissist, how easy they are to control, the provision of fuel. Character traits are often taken from friends, and there are residual benefits. Friends are particularly cherished by the narcissist if they will do the narcissist's bidding and perhaps might fulfill the role of a lieutenant. Friends are particularly cherished if they can grant access to the narcissist which they wouldn't be able to obtain without the assistance of that friend. If a friend is wealthy and gives or lends them money, gains them admittance to certain clubs and events and networks, and if they have prominence in some way which the narcissist can leverage off. This one's wife will now regard Gwyneth Paltrow as her friend, despite the fact that they just appeared in a video for self-serving purposes from both perspectives. See my earlier video. Gwyneth Paltrow and Meghan Markle, joint video explained. In the deluded mind of this one's wife, her narcissism will tell her that Gwyneth Paltrow is now her friend. This is because the narcissism recognizes that Paltrow is a very useful friend to have. She has status, which is something that this one's wife would commandeer by way of character trait acquisition. She also has access to networks. She is a successful businesswoman and actress, and this one's wife's narcissism will be keen for the ever-grasping, ever-social climbing this one's wife to leverage off the back of Gwyneth Paltrow's A-list status. Remember, this one's wife feels no embarrassment or shame in doing this, for those do not affect her. Indeed, her sense of entitlement tells her that her and Gwyneth are equals, that they belong together, even though the evidence is to the contrary, and even though she is seeking the friendship to improve her position. Lacking boundary recognition and having no accountability for her behaviours, her narcissism causes her to go hell for leather, to regard Gwyneth Paltrow as now a firm friend. She is painted white. She is seen in a favourable light, and lacking that boundary recognition, the recognition of space, failing to understand that she's only someone that she's recently met, this one's wife naturally will be looking to exploit the friendship to the maximum extent by showing people that they've hung out together, to triangulate the audience with Gwyneth. Here's me and Gwyneth doing this. Here's me and Gwyneth doing that. To utilise their appearance to share it on Instagram, because as you know, this one's wife cannot resist the opportunity to herald her friendship through social media. The fact is, Gwyneth Paltrow is simply another appliance that, because she had an interaction with this one's wife, she is now in the fuel matrix of this one's wife. That's what happens when you deal with a narcissist. When you send a narcissist a message, speak to the narcissist, greet them by shaking hands. The moment you have some form of interaction, whether it's proximate or through an electronic medium, you are now in the fuel matrix of the narcissist. If the narcissist sends you a message, even if you don't respond, you are in the fuel matrix of the narcissist. And so, although they don't know each other well, the presumptuousness of this one's wife is to make Gwyneth Paltrow a non-intimate secondary source in that fuel matrix for the purposes of using her. Now remember, This one's wife's mentality is she's a lovable, likeable, admirable person who has lots of friends, and therefore it makes perfect sense that someone like Gwyneth Paltrow would want to be friends with her. She doesn't see that her behaviour is rushing things along. She doesn't see that she's being intrusive. You'll recall that, and I can't remember the person's name, but some time ago, this one's wife found herself something of a laughing stock among certain people in the Monty Shit Show set or the Hollywood set because she was so desperate to hang out with people. She kept messaging and texting them. Remember, she is no respecter of privacy, although bleating about wanting it for herself, which means that she would harass her management to get in contact with people or provide contact details to her so she could then, out of the blue, message people. They'd think, how the hell has this one's wife got my telephone number? I didn't give it to her, but the agent has done so. And this one's wife, not respecting privacy and operating with that sense of entitlement, would then get in touch with them. And as this was shown, people were saying, she's always asking us to hang out and do things together, but we don't want anything to do with her. And also, she doesn't recognise that we're not interested because, of course, in the deluded mind of this one's wife, why wouldn't you want to hang out with her? She's beautiful and charming and fun and exciting and intelligent and all of those other things. And therefore, you would want to be with her, surely. This is what drives this one's wife to be so intrusive. And it's going to be no different with Gwyneth Paltrow. Her narcissism is straining at the leash to gain further involvement. Now, Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't give a flying fuck about her. She would regard, were she aware, that she is a narcissist, as this one's wife as a tertiary source. Her narcissism will allocate this one's wife with the position of a non-intimate tertiary source within her fuel matrix. As I explained in my more detailed video, Gwyneth Paltrow's just using this one's wife to make it look like she hasn't got any beef with her and that Paltrow is a lovely person that doesn't fall out with individuals. But she has no interest in maintaining a friendship other than similarly what it might do for her. There is a power imbalance between the two women. One has won an Oscar, the other one has not. One has a $200 million business, the other one does not. One is relatively respected by sections of the Hollywood community, the other less so. And therefore Gwyneth Paltrow will see this one's wife as beneath her and would only tolerate her presence to the extent that it serves a purpose for her. She has no interest and no need in maintaining a regular friendship. However, from the perspective of this one's wife, she is excited, in effect, to have this connection. It's something that she's always believed that ought to be hers. And now that there was the opportunity to spend time together, her deluded mind now tells her, I'm best friends with Gwyneth Paltrow. She wants to spend time with me. I want to spend time with her. We can do collaborations. I can pick her brains. There's so much we can do together. This is going to be great. And this is where the sort of stalkerish vibes come out of this one's wife, that she'll pester and pester. If Paltrow has been foolish enough to provide her contact details, there is no doubt that this one's wife, failing to recognise that she's behaving intrusively, will keep messaging her. There'll be the slightest of pretext utilised. She'll be trying to invite her over. She'll be wanting to spend time with her because her narcissism recognises Gwyneth Paltrow is an excellent addition to the fuel matrix. Milk it. And that is what can be expected. This gives you something of insight into the way that this one's wife regards the friendship, but also the way that Gwyneth Paltrow regards the relationship. They both don't look at it in the same way, even though they are both narcissists. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.